Good morning everybody, welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. Hope you're all doing great and welcome to this new video right here on Hedera. Wanted to do a full update on Hedera and Hbar. There's not specifically a lot of momentum going into Hedera right now or something like that, but still it's a coin I try to cover at least like once a week. I have not covered this for a long time because I mean the price action just sucked, for a lack of a better word. My apologies. But wanted to do an update right now, and I also want to keep you updated on this. I think Hedera is quite interesting in 2025. I think the price action we're seeing right now is quite interesting. I think that there are some amazing entry opportunities lower. We'll talk about that. And one of the main things that I like very much about Hedera is that when we talk about this narrative and this category that Hedera is a part of, right? So that's kind of the dino coins, veteran coins, whatever you want to call it. The two coins that it's most closely associated to in terms of price action, they're quite different projects, of course, but still, when we talk about price action, they very often move together. It's Algorand and XLM/Stellar. Now, I don't think Hedera has been the strongest performer out of all of those. I think Stellar performed better, but I do think Hedera is more interesting in the sense that Hedera is most likely in 2025 going to get an ETF. That's interesting in itself, but Hedera is also, it's just with all the institutional interest we have seen for Hedera over the last years, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with that, and it could all of a sudden be a success story that not a lot of people expect. Now, fundamentally at this point of time, I'm not the biggest fan of Hedera. Like when we go back to, for example, November. My apologies, I'm doing some other things in between and got some price alerts going off. When you talk about the momentum growth or the fundamental growth of the Hedera network that we saw back in December and January 2024 and 2025 respectively, we saw huge fundamental growth, right? And we had TVL reaching new highs. That just hasn't happened, and that is a shame to see in my opinion. That's something I don't like. It can happen, but I don't like that, just personally. But like I said, with the ETF, I'm going to say, oh, okay, I'll you know, see through that, and I'll try to forget about it and still see the potential in Hedera. Now, Hedera was very strong in July, left some imbalances to the downside, some of them filled, some of them not, but now we are forming some sort of balance. Like I said, there's not specifically right now a lot of momentum or a lot of strength going into Hedera, and I think it's most likely that we are also going to stay relatively stable. I mean, you can see the volume right here, you can see the open interest right here. It looks quite likely that we're just going to remain stable right here. And I think that's where opportunities come in, because where we are finding this stability right here, if you zoom all the way out, it's actually on top of a relatively strong level right here, with that main level being, I would argue, around 23 and 22.5 cents, right? That's a very respected support level in general. But in this case, we also have a massive fair value gap there, which is also strengthened by the 90-day rolling VWAP and the yearly rolling VWAP, which is insanely strong. So I think what's most likely for Hedera is that we're going to remain relatively stable for now right here. But where I think the main opportunity lies is, you know, a lot of things can happen. And even though at this point of time the fundamentals are very bullish, things can turn around. And I think there is a realistic possibility that we're going to spike down into that level towards 22.5 cents and lower, spike down into that, find support, reclaim the range, and then sometime afterwards, we can actually get a rally up to 32 and 33 cents. And I think that is the main opportunity. And that's also the main opportunity I'm watching for right now. I'll set a price alert right now. But for now, stability, I think, is most likely with Hedera, right? So the main balance here, the main range is 27.6 cents and 24.2 cents. So if we deviate outside of that range, could be a breakout, could also not be. I mean, you can see there's a couple of times that we deviated outside of that and it was nothing. It was just normal price action. Especially in August, that is most likely to happen. But for now, there's a bit of a pullback or pulling back price action in the altcoin market. I think we're going to pull back with that. I think we'll stay within the range. I don't expect us to drop down into that main support level at 21 cents for now, but I do think it's very likely that we're going to do that sometime in the next month, maybe 2 months. We'll reclaim the range. That's a buying opportunity, and I still think it's most likely that we're going to get a move up higher rather than a sustained move lower. I think it's going to be a quick, spiky move. If we actually do drop down into 22 and 21 cents. But those are my thoughts on Hedera right here. That's what I think you need to know. If you do have any questions, let me know down in the comments. But for now, thank you for watching. Take care and bye.